What's going on, guys? SargeantsTechTips. Welcome to another video on my channel. As you can see, we're going to be building a computer today. This is going to be a basic use computer. It's going to be used at a mechanic shop. So, as you can see, we've got the Core i3. Don't let this Core i3 fool you. This is a very powerful chip, especially for what they're going to be doing. We've also got a mini ITX Gigabyte motherboard. I recommend Gigabyte because I run one today, and I think it's an awesome motherboard. It's also got DDR5 support, which we are going to be pairing that with a 16 gigabyte kit of Crucial. This runs at 4,800 mega transfers per second. DDR5 is awesome, so this computer is going to last them a while. Paired up, we've got a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. Now for the cooler, I did do something a little different because we could have rocked the stock cooler, but what I decided to do was get this Noctua cooler. It's a Chromex Black. The reason I did this is because it cools really well, and I mean, it's a Core i3, so it doesn't really take much anyway. And this is going to be much more friendly in terms of lasting long because the Intel coolers are really loud, and this one's going to be a lot more quiet because, you know, Noctua is very known for their quiet and performance, so we're going to be rocking that. Now, it's all going to be going into an in-win case. I actually don't know the in-win case yet. I have not seen it. I could probably tell you, but I don't 100% remember. So we're going to get into it, and we're going to hope all of the parts fit. We're going to go ahead and open the case first just because I want to show you guys and make sure you guys, yeah, you guys get it. So it's going to be the in-win CJ series. Okay, yep, so it's just an in-win case. It's basically, what is it? It's like a Lenovo or Dell. I've got one right here, an Optiplex. It looks like that, but it's better, and obviously it's not OEM, it's from a company. But let's go ahead and get it out of the box. Perfect. Now, like I said, this is going to be used at a mechanic shop. They've been having a lot of issues with their computer lately. They've got like an HP or something now, so it's going to be a definite upgrade for them. This will be my first time building into this case, actually. Take the case out. The reason we chose this case is because it comes with a power supply, and it's much more easier to manage than trying to figure out a power supply. And another good thing about this case, I know the sound's probably going to be weird, you can actually put the feet, you can actually put the feet anywhere on this case. So you've got right here on the top, you can put the feet right here on the bottom, so you can lay it flat down, or right here on this side to put it down. Something fell out, that's okay. It also does come with a power cable, that's pretty neat. Comes with a nice beefy power cable too. Nice. We're going to be using my messed up iFixit kit because I don't feel like going upstairs to get the other one. This will work just fine though. Oh, and look at that. It's even got a spot for a disk drive. We won't be using that though. We don't need that. This whole thing could probably just come out since we are not going to be using the disk drive. That fan can be flipped around. Yeah, I'm not really sure why Inwin made it so that fan exhausts. We're going to want that to intake. I probably could, I think we'll just leave it all in there just in case they decide to put a disk drive in later. And the best thing about Mini ITX is literally 4 screws. That's all you got to put in. You don't got to put 8 or 9 or whatever in for other motherboards. It's going to be much easier. I'm going to go ahead and flip this fan around real quick. It's going to pull air in and attempt to passively exhaust it out the back. It's a very thin fan too. Inwin makes some good stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised. This also supports like micro ATX, I think. Yeah, so it doesn't support just mini ITX. It also supports micro ATX. So if you guys want to get this case, all the parts will be in the link to the description below. I just got to find them. Perfect. Alright, the fan is now in the correct position. Going to be pulling air in and exhausting it out the back. Technically, we could have it just exhaust, but since this is a really low like power build, it's not going to have a very powerful CPU in it. I really don't think it matters. So we're going to go ahead and get this going. Let's go ahead and get the motherboard ready, along with a CPU and RAM. I recommend if you guys build in this case, you try to stay away from hard drives because I think there is 2.5 and 3.5 inch mounting for this, but I don't recommend it. Only because it's going to be more hard to have more cables to route. It does have SATA power on the power supply though, so it's not like you're limited there. So we went with the Intel Core i3 13100. Like I said in the beginning of the video, do not underestimate the CPU. This is a very powerful chip. This is actually a really good chip for gaming if you just want to start out gaming. It's 4 cores, 8 threads. From what I know, I could be very wrong. It could have 8 cores and 16 threads. I actually don't know. I do not remember the core count. Once we get into Windows, I will be showing you guys the core count anyway. Alright guys, I was correct. It's 4 cores, 8 threads. Regardless, that's still plenty of cores and plenty of threads for this type of build, especially what they're going to be using it for. It's basically just a computer where they can access data, from what I know. I'm pretty sure that's all they're going to be using it for, so this is going to be more than enough for them. I'm going to keep the sticker, because all Intel CPUs come with a sticker, and I do like putting that on sometimes. So obviously, like I said, we went with the Core i3. Look at that beast. It's not that powerful. If you're going to go with something a little more budget-friendly, then I would go with this, but if you have a decent amount of budget, I would definitely go with like a Core i5. And all you got to do is plop it in there. I like to give it a little bit of a wiggle just to make sure it's not going anywhere. Don't give it too hard of a wiggle, otherwise you could damage the socket. But give it a light little wiggle, make sure it's in there. If it slides in and pops in, then you're good. All you gotta do is push down on the socket, push down, and then the socket cover will pop off. I actually recommend you keep these. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and install the RAM just in case the cooler, so we can kind of figure out the cooler there. just to make sure the cooler is going to fit as well. Now this RAM is very fast. It's probably not the fastest you could get. It's not gaming RAM, but like I said, they're not going to be using it for gaming. They're going to be using it for day-to-day tasks. So this is going to be much more powerful than what they're rocking today. Yeah, oh, I forgot Noctua includes thermal compound because Noctua is awesome. Oh, well look at that. It's in a cute little case. It also does come with a fan limiter if you want to make it even quieter, but I don't recommend using that. Low noise adapter. That's what that is. It's also got a Noctua badge, which I might actually put on there. So let's go ahead and get the cooler out. I think it comes with... It does not come with thermal paste pre-applied. I thought it did. Oh, they're fan screws. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure why it includes more fan screws, because it's already got 4. I wonder if it's, like, if you want to install a thicker fan. That might be why. Because, I mean, it's a pretty thin fan. If you ever want to install, like, a slightly thicker fan to get a little more surface area there, or better cooling, then you could, and I think that's what those are for. Because what you're going to do is you're going to install it, flip it over, and then put the screws in. It's a little tedious to install, and I kind of wish they would come up with a better solution, but... You know, it works. Go ahead, we're just going to use Noctua's thermal paste because their thermal paste is just fine. Obviously, with 13th gen, well, 12th and 13th gen, you want to install a little more than you usually do just because there's more surface area to cover. I usually like to do a pea-size amount still, but I turn the pea-size out. Rice size, sorry. Rice size is a little thicker. What I usually do is I make it a little thinner, but spread it across more. That way, when you push in the cooler, it spreads out evenly in all ways. Now, you could just spread it out with a spreader, but I've never had to do that. Never had to do it with any of my personal systems or any of the computers I've built here, so I don't see a problem with it. Now, if you guys want to buy a computer from us, check out the link in the description below. It's going to be vermontcomputing.coop. Build could appear in a video for all you know, so if you guys want to do that, check that out. You will have to pay for shipping because we will have to ship it to you if you don't live in the Vermont area, just so you guys know. If you live in the Vermont area, you could easily come pick it up, or we could ship it to you and it'd be a lot less since it would be in the same state. So now, in terms of installing this, it actually looks like, okay, so they did put the CPU fan as a regular connector, because since it's a mini ITX motherboard, it's got the adapter piece, which we pulled out earlier, which is this. So we are going to have to use this for the front fan, which I think I could put this anywhere. No, we will have to put it up here, system fan, and then we can route it. We'll figure it out. I have extensions, worst comes to worst. So now to install this, for any CPU cooler, which I'm sure you guys have seen, I like to try to wrap it a little bit just so it kind of fits a little bit better. Now to install this cooler, like I said, it's a little tedious. Flip it around, make sure it's all lined up, flip it around while the cooler's attached. Then you got to line up all of the screws. Okay, so what I've been noticing when installing this, I've installed it before, but you got to like make sure one side is loose to be able to install the other side. Otherwise, it's just not going to even out and it's not going to install properly. Like I said, this cooler is very tedious, but it is extremely worth it. It is a very nice cooler. You don't want to over tighten this one because it does get very tight, which is good because the contact it'll have with the pins and the thermal paste, so it's not like you're hurting anything. What I like to do is I like to rotate until I have to put pressure down to rotate. So I just rotate it until I have to put pressure. If I have to put pressure, I stop. That way it's all evened out. Now you want to make sure the motherboard's not bowing too much, which it does look like it is a little bit, which is normal in some ways, but also not normal because that means you have it too tight. It is bowing a little bit, so we will loosen it just a tad. Too tight can be a thing. I just want to point that out. Like I said, you don't want to have it too tight. You also don't want to have it too loose. Otherwise, it's not going to make good contact. You do not have to go tight at all with this cooler. This cooler will make very good contact regardless. So that is that cooler. Like I said, it is an amazing cooler. It looks really good too, especially with the black theme, with the black RAM and the black, it might actually be blue, but that's okay. It's going to be a blue SSD, but they're not really going to be looking inside the computer anyway. So let's go ahead and get the M.2 out. A lot of motherboards actually have like coolless installation, but this one does not. There we go. SSD is now installed. I do not believe. Yeah, there's no M.2 slot on the back. The motherboard is all good. We are good to go ahead and put it in the case. So the case does come with the feet, so you can put them somewhere. I'll probably put them upright because I think that's probably going to how they're going to have the system. So we're going to do that for them. Now this case only has 2 standoffs, so you don't actually have to worry about putting standoffs in. It's got 2 and they're already pre-installed. So let's go ahead and put the IO shield in first before I put the motherboard in. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put the motherboard in. Should all line up, and a lot of newer motherboards actually have the standoffs stick up just a little bit so the motherboard fits inside, which makes it a lot easier to install. Let's go ahead and get the motherboard screws installed. Makes it much easier to build in here with a mini ITX motherboard compared to a micro, or I mean, it kind of looks like it'll fit a pretty big motherboard in here. I think up to micro would probably be your best bet if you want to be safe in terms of like store or size and make sure it fits. That's what I would recommend, not going above. Alright, so we are done there. Motherboard is now installed. Let's go ahead and get everything connected. Do cable management later, so don't freak out in the comments, please. Let's just wait. You're already planning to type that comment telling me how much I suck at cable management. It also does come with the power for the mini disk drive, so just keep that in mind. Look at that, she works. Booted right into the BIOS. So I can quickly show you guys. As you can see, she works. We are fully operational. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick time lapse for the cable management and then the finished setting up touches. And then we're going to go ahead and hop into Windows and make sure that the temps are okay. And then we're going to be doing a 24-hour burn-in, which is what we do with all of our computers. So it'll have to sit for 24 hours before the customer can come get it. So hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Alrighty guys, so the computer is all fully built. We're going to go ahead and reboot it and get Windows 11 installed. Alrighty guys, so it looks like Windows 11 has finished installing. We're going to go ahead and just set it up real quick. Hello? Oh yeah, you might want to make sure BitLocker is off. Never turn that on, please. Don't ever turn that on. BitLocker is garbage. Microsoft, please stop forcing people to use it. I have been dealing with a computer today where I had to take the drive out and I attempted to clone it, but I couldn't because BitLocker was enabled. So I had to pull the drive out, put the old one back in, fire it up, turn off BitLocker, let it sit there and unencrypt all the files, and then I had to do the clone. Like, you're making IT problems worse. BitLocker is awesome in certain ways because it does prevent people from accessing your data, but for us IT professionals, it is extremely hard to deal with. So please, don't force people to use it. If people want to use it and they're fully unaware of what it isn't, they probably don't need it. That's just my point of view. Alrighty guys, we got burn-in running. If you guys are wondering what program it is heavy load. It took me a minute because I had to find a program. For some reason, hardware monitor doesn't always work with the Core i3s. It only works with Core i5s on up. I think it's something to do with the fact that it's not a gaming CPU according to hardware monitor. So we're going to be using Core Temp. Right now, the CPU is sitting around 63 degrees Celsius. Max has been 64 degrees Celsius. Granted, it's not actually at 100% yet. So this is going to be running for 24 hours. I can take a picture and post it on screen now on what it looked like after 24 hours if you would like. So right now we're hovering around 69 degrees Celsius. It's actually going between 69 and 67, so that's good. That means the CPU is getting around the cooling it needs. That cooler is doing its job, like I figured it would. There is heat coming out of the back, but there's not a whole lot of heat where I'm worried about it. And it looks like the idea I had for the cooling is working. Power supply is okay. Awesome. If you guys enjoyed the video, please drop a like. If you guys did not enjoy the video, please drop a dislike. Subscribe to this channel if you guys are new. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more build videos like this. And if you guys want to see a video on how I stress test stuff, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out. So we went along with we went ahead